Architectural Builder Supply is pleased to present you with this recording of the technical question that is listed in the title of this video.
This call may be monitored and recorded for quality assurance.
There's two doors, as you can see in the picture. Each one is checker plate. They're about 2 foot by 4 foot. And I'm going to say they weigh in the neighborhood of 80 pounds. My question is, if we did decide to go with this and use some sort of a liner with wood around the interior of that pit wall, would I just need one string or one per door?
I have no idea because I don't know the weight. If it was me, I would certainly, here's what I would do. 2 is the answer. I would look at a standard catalog cut page. So you've got a vault door that we can't identify, and that vault door goes through. That's not exterior, right? That's an interior application.
Yeah, it's to a mechanical room above some elevators from a staircase.
Oh, right on. Okay. So you've got a double leaf floor door, and it's certainly missing lifting mechanisms, and any way to probably hold them open appears to not be working either. What I would do is I would look at what the positioning of a lifting mechanism looks like on a typical roof hatch. And I would try to emulate the mounting point on the sidewall and on the underside of the lid so as to approximate, a proper working situation. The attaching of the wood to line it on either of the 4-foot sides where you would mount the bottom boot, the bottom mounting bracket, would be obviously so that what you have there is obviously poured concrete over CMU on the one side, and the question was, you can strategically get that wood applied to the masonry and then have at least something reasonably solid to put the lifting mechanism boot bottom bracket to. That's where I was going with that. Plus on the left-hand side, your curb height might be insufficient to get that mounting point attached. So that's why I was thinking that as well. So the real issue becomes, let's say you line that. Let's say I send you 2 or 4 lifting mechanisms. Here's the guesswork. I'm going to guess, probably 280-pound springs. Is it aluminum or steel?
It's steel.
Okay, I would definitely be at 280s for sure. Then that's guesswork because I don't know the weight of that, and even if I did, it wouldn't help much because I, don't engineer vault doors for a living. But looking at what other vault doors use, number 2, the mounting points themselves is such that I don't know where to place them because I don't know, and I would look at established drawings as guidance. But what happens sometimes is when people get these things installed, when you are totally off the reservation in terms of replacing something directly, you lift it up far enough and those 2 telescoping tubes will leave each other. And I've had a couple of instances where the client calls and says, yeah, what you sold me doesn't work. I says, well, okay, I'm not surprised. It's putting a starter from a Ford onto a Chevy. It's going to take some mounting. So these people have had to relocate the mounting point, and then it seemed to make it certainly work well better than it used to. So those are the unknowns, and that's the part where you have to decide, okay, well, I'm willing to experiment, and I will absolutely be grateful for anything better than not having anything. And at that point, you're in good shape.
Okay. Well, what would you recommend then for a door that's like 80 pounds? Each door is approximately 80 pounds.
If
I'm not.
Yeah.
I realize what you're saying about being able to mount it, but if, hocus pocus, you have will a single spring open one door that's 80-pound and 80-pound spring? How does that work?
Well, in this scenario, there's a 100-pound spring. In this scenario, I would likely order one, and then I would say to myself, okay, how does that work? It doesn't open it. It just helps it, it just helps keeping from crashing down. It's an assist is what it is. And if I found that it was insufficient, I would obviously order a second unit. Is what I would do. I would, if 80 pounds is the mark, I would go with one each. Is what I would do, and then add a second if necessary.
Okay. Would I then have to change the springs if I had to add a second?
No, because you're going to physically add a second lifting mechanism. The springs aren't available as separate products. These come pre-compressed. So there's 100,
okay.
180, then there's 200, 300, and it continues up from there. There are roof hatches like this out there that have 4, units on it. A 100-pound spring doesn't mean it's for a 100-pound door necessarily. You might very likely find that you'd add a second one. But, if time is on your side, then, yeah, proceed one step at a time.
Okay.
And
so what spring would you recommend I start with?
The 100-pound spring.
100 pound. And then if that doesn't work, add another.
Add another, yeah. The question really will be is where you would place it, because you don't want to place it on one far end necessarily, because you don't want any twist in the unit, which there's going to be a little bit. If I knew one was going to work, I would probably opt to put it more in the center, but at the same time, seeing where your stair location is on the one wall, I'd like to kind of keep that as back as far as possible. I might bias it. You've got 2 webs, and I might do the installation in your first, quadrant, so to speak, your first area. You've got the right end to your first web, the center section, your second web, then the third section. I might put it right towards that first web, that first vertical, so that if you had to add a second one, you could do it symmetrically.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The first, yeah, you got like 3.
Yeah.
2 of the 2 center ribs, we'll call them.
Yeah.
Maybe do put one on one of those and see how that works.
Right on.
And then I guess if I had to, if I ordered 2, I could try and just do one on one door, see how that works. If it doesn't, I could add the other to the same side, and then order a whole nother set. At least then one door is operable.
Yeah, absolutely. That's, you need 2 at a minimum.
Right.
You need 2 or 4 probably.
Now these are like soft open, soft close too, correct?
This is nothing other than a spring that's inside of a couple of telescoping tubes that have provisions for mounting at each end. So there's no control over this. This is just literally a spring that's going to be bolted. And it's just meant to help you push it up without needing Herculean strength and providing an unsafe environment. And then to keep it, when it closes, to kind of allow it to close in a more controlled fashion. But the term soft, I would not apply. Control, this is not a hydraulic door closer. This is just a spring. Like you'd see on a roof hatch. It's exactly what it is.
Okay. Alrighty. Let me talk it over with my powers to be, and we'll call you back.
Right on, sir. I'll be around. Thank you for calling.
I appreciate your help. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Architectural Builders Supply hopes you have enjoyed this program.